Hello, everyone. I'm Pharmacist Michael, and today I have Kyle with me, who is a veteran who has suffered from PTSD. And this is something that is a problem for a lot of people, and I don't believe it's talked about enough. So I'm going to let him tell us his story and how this has affected his life. Thanks for coming in, Kyle. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Michael, for having me. I appreciate it again, too. So I am a veteran. I did 8.5 years in the military. I did 6.5 tours in combat. One of those tours being taken back as a medical discharge. In half my tour in 2015, I was diagnosed with severe PTSD. um, the way they found that throughout the military is I dug a 9-foot trench uh, around my sector at that point, and I was loaded with my AR-15 in a trench hole that I had dug, in my underwear, completely in my whitey tighty. So just to point out, that was the story of what I had woken up to. I'd woken up to 30 MPs and about a couple other 100 soldiers with their guns at me. Didn't know what was going to happen. Yes, sir. So I did 8.5 years in the military. And 6.5 tours combat related. So, first tour happened in 2011. I was just shy of turning 20 years old. And, thought it was the hot stuff, thought I was going to see a lot of cool stuff. I wanted to be in the military. I wanted to shoot. You wanted to do that. In the long run, nor did I know what it was going to affect me in the long run. So, in a way, I carried on throughout it. I thought I could be, that GI Joe war hero, and so in a lot of the ways that I've aspect myself to what I was, as I'm not a war hero anymore. I don't need to wear those GI Joe boots or anything. But like, you're right, PTSD is not talked about enough. And for me, it's for the combat that I went through. It's for the action I have seen. And now that us veterans are more talking about it, where Vietnam guys and World War II guys and Desert Storm guys did not talk about this stuff, it's now our minds that are helping their minds to help their minds go. And we can't do it. We can't do it alone. That's all I'm saying. And I really would like more to be put out there about PTSD. I really like more to be said. Physical wise, I've lost a lot of friends to PTSD, and rest in peace to them. I just never understand why. And today and yesterday and the day before, I have gotten 3 phone calls that I've lost a couple other buddies to PTSD. 22 is a strong thing. 22 a day is a real thing, and it's somebody doesn't understand it. Somebody doesn't know what to do with PTSD, how they can help the flashback that person's going through, or that I don't know what you want to call it, the mental pool that people are saying about it. Excuse me, I'm gonna grab a drink of water real quick. But yeah, that's kind of where I stand on it. There's not like a lot of people that know how to deal with it, what to think about it, and I want to kind of help the encouragement spread about it, how to not get so into it without being like so what do you want to call it, I guess traumatic about it. A lot of people are like, oh, what did you see in the military, or how did you interact with people over there? And it's just like, whoa, triggers, here we go.
Yeah.
So definitely not something that I recommend to go up to people about. Other things that I I really highly encourage for people is just be like, hey, thank you for your service. Did you suffer any repercussions of it? The veteran usually says yes. Drop it.
So I have a question for you. Did they ever talk to you in the military about this possibly happening to you during the time you're in there?
No.
No preparation, no.
Nah.
Okay. And okay, so they've got to know it exists. And first of all, I am going to thank you for your service. And you said you're not a war hero anymore, but you will always be a war hero. And here's the thing: we wouldn't be here under an American flag if it wasn't for people like you. And I would really love to know how prevalent PTSD is in our veterans. I bet it's a lot higher than people think it is.
It's a lot higher, Michael. You're right. It's on that 10,000 million% scale up there. It's so high you can't even attack it with a scorpion reaper pepper. And so for me, my wife, she witnesses me soak my pillow. I get 9 pillows a month because I soak them, sweat, just drench sweat. I wake up, night terror screaming, 93 Delta, combat air zone, da-da-da. What does it all mean? The whole world doesn't know what that means but me. Right. But me or another veteran. No one's going to know what 1015 means unless you're a veteran, unless you've been in that military experience. And it's like, it hurts. Excuse me. It hurts for people that suffer from PTSD to not explain it the way they should. And when they do, things don't end up right. And people really just look at you like you're a freaking weirdo and like you just, man. Yeah, people look at you like a weirdo, and I'm sorry, but that's the point. Logistic. It is just you don't get respect being a veteran anymore. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, but the way that you say, oh, I suffer PTSD, they're like, whoa, Red X here. Get out of my way. I don't want to deal with you. And it took my wife several years for that to happen. Several years of the black and blue bruises that she would get from me just hitting her in my sleep. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
So did you know her before you went in?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
So you were like this when did it get worse in the more and more tours? Did it come from one of them in particular? Or is it
came more and more particular. And when I say that, first combat wasn't particularly PTSD wise. Second one, man, yeah, oh yeah. And I'm going to get deep with it if you don't mind.
No, yes, I want you to tell your story. That's why you're here. Absolutely.
For me, my PTSD is when I hear gunshots, I think about them, and then it really goes deep. And my PTSD is picking up those bodies that I had to kill and the fresh blood pour out of the bullet holes you put into them. That's where my PTSD comes in. And I'm sorry again, I'm going to get shooken up about this. You can't beat the factor of just repeating it and repeating it and repeat, because you're just going to get mentally more fricked up in the head.
Have you been treated for this?
Still being treated, my man, still being treated.
Do you do psychotherapy as well as medications?
Yeah. I'm in full-time counseling twice a week. I do DBT and ACT skills. So I suffer hardcore with my PTSD, and controlling is a whole nother subject, you know.
Right.
And so how to control is another subject. How to beat it? How long does it last? How long is it going to overwhelm my mind, my brain, my thoughts of, I don't belong here. I just want to die. I don't need anybody else in my life. I just want to die. And that's what goes on in some people's heads. And then they follow through it. And that's the sad part.
Because the pain is so intense and we don't treat our veterans like we should.
100%. And it's not that we, the people, don't treat the veterans. We treat them very well. It's our assistants, the VA. The VA is not there for you. They're there to be against you. And whereas I say that, for an example, my wife is a veteran as well, and she had a broken ankle throughout boot camp, and they told her it was just a sprained ankle, gave her a brace, and told her to keep walking on it, running on it, whatever. They put her at 10% in the VA percentage range. That's not very high. I'm at 90%. So
Uh-oh.
Are we there?
Yeah, we got you back.
Awesome. Hold on one second. I'm going to grab my phone charger because I just realized my phone's going to die on me.
Okay. So everybody that's in here, please feel free to ask Kyle questions. That's why he's here. He's here to tell his story. And if you guys have any questions for him, please ask them. I'll put them on the screen so he can see them.
Definitely. Please do. All right. Anyways, so the VA is not here to help you. They're not here to be on your side whatsoever. A lot of the things I get from the VA is, you know, the typical how on on 5 to 10 or 1 to 5, 1 to 10, whatever scale you want to call it. How depressed are you? How sad are you? How angry are you? It's not what I want to be asked.
Right.
What I want to be asked is, when was your last PTSD episode and what was it like? Awesome. Sure. I flipped some tables over in a restaurant and was like, 93 Delta, 93 Delta. I need medic combat now, you know? If you're out there with your wife and kids, Michael, and you're at a restaurant, say McGrath's Fish House, really nice place to eat. What are you going to do if a veteran popped off like that?
Well, I think I'd probably be scared. You know, I'd be afraid. I don't think I would be, you know, I'm used to seeing stuff like that. So for me, it's a little different than it would be the public. I think the public would just trip out. They'd just assume you were crazy, and
Right.
they'd probably call the police or run, right? Try to get away from you.
Right. And that's where a lot of it happens. You know, the police don't know how to act with it unless they're veterans themselves. What helps? Well, a lot of the helping is the veteran doing his part as well. For me, making sure I'm on the right medication. For me, I stopped using medication because it was not helping me whatsoever. And I'm terrified that I stopped it. That's one reason why I wanted to do this interview, is to ask you what you think about PTSD medications. because I was taking antidepressants and it was not helping me.
So what I would do, have you been on, what do they give you before you go to sleep?
Depakote. Yeah.
No, I would say that's not a good drug for you to be on at all. What I would like to see you do is find someone who specializes in PTSD.
Okay.
I would not go to as extensive as yours is. You need someone who knows what they're doing and what medications can help you. And Depakote makes no sense to me. First of all, Depakote is one of my least favorite drugs that there is.
And why is that?
Because it's got a ton of side effects and people use it for aggression. But a lot of us think that the only reason people are less aggressive when they take it is because they feel like crap. Have you tried Prazosin?
I have, yeah. And
did they titrate you to a high enough dose?
Yes, and I felt like my body was very uncomfortable when I took it. I guess I felt like I was gonna drown in my own body. I guess.
Did it stop the nightmares?
No,
it didn't. Okay.
No.
So,
and the nightmares still haven't stopped.
Right.
I've used medical marijuana. I've used medical mushrooms. I was on a study for medical mushrooms before they even legalized it in Oregon. I was on that high rate of veterans. Not even mushrooms have helped me.
Have you tried acupuncture or hypnotism or anything like that?
You know, and that was actually what the VA offered is first is acupuncture and hypnotism. And that's what I did is I did acupuncture. It relieved the stress in the neck, it relieved the stress in the shoulders. I felt there was a lot less tension in the mind. I don't think so. So I did 9 months of acupuncture and I didn't find anything. I still go off and on, but I'm not like a guru, a yoga activist
Right.
in acupuncture. No, but yeah.
Have you seen somebody who specializes in PTSD yet?
Yes, and I still do. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they helping you at all?
Oh yes, tons.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Because what I will tell you is there's a good chance this will get better and the dreams will get further and further apart. But I can also tell you that if you see the wrong person and they give you the wrong drugs, it can get worse.
You are 100% right on that one, and I agree with you. I ran into the wrong person the first time around, and the VA was like, "Hey, here's this doctor. He knows everything about PTSD." That's not what happened. Did cannabis make the depression worse? In my eyes, I don't really see a difference when I did the cannabis. And I'm going to be completely honest. Thinking back, maybe my wife maybe seen a little bit more depression, but for me, I didn't feel any different. I felt the same. I always felt on edge. For me right now, it's the biggest thing is knowing I'm safe. I'm in my house. I'm in my clothes. I'm not in my uniform. That's the biggest part is knowing I'm safe 24/7. And that's the hard part.
Yeah.
And so did the cannabis maybe make my paranoia rise? Probably a little bit more. This may sound silly, but have you worked one-on-one with a
breathwork facilitator?
I don't know what that is, so no.
So somebody who can teach you how to decrease your anxiety by breathing, I think what she's talking about.
Okay. Well, I call that mountain biking.
Yeah, no, but I mean, let me tell you what I would do if I was you. If I was you, I would try every possible non-drug treatment for PSD that I could find. I would try everything. I would go to faith healers. I would go to, we've already tried acupuncture.
Yep.
I'd try yoga. I'd try Tai Chi. I would try every possible thing I could. Now, I'm not saying don't take the drugs, but, and the reason is, I think it's going to take more than one thing to fix this problem.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's mind is different. That's why some people can go through this and not have any PTSD, and other people commit suicide, right? It's because everybody's different. But there's got to be something that can help you get through this.
Right.
And you have to maintain hope, because when you lose hope, you lose everything.
Almost.
Once you convince yourself that this is never going to go away, you've lost. So don't do that, because I think it can go away. I do. And I think it's normal. I think it's not talked about anywhere near enough. I know I've got a very good friend from TikTok that has a husband that's going through this. And, you know, these people come up over and over and over the more that you work around the mental health care arena.
Right. And I agree with you. You know, the more you, like you said, the more that's studied, the more that's said, the more that's put in.
You know, hopefully we'll get him back. We lost him again. I appreciate you guys asking the questions. It helps me, and I think it helps him too. It helps us keep our flow going. Holotropic breath work. His phone may have completely died this time, which I hope not. This has been fascinating. I hope you guys are enjoying it, because there he is.
Alrighty. Sorry about that.
It's okay. I'm going to wait a while because I want to hear the rest of your story.
So sorry about that.
Holotropic breath work. It's a miracle worker. I don't know exactly what that is, but this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. You just don't know what's going to work for you.
Right.
And I'm gonna caution you about one thing, and this is super important. Don't ever poo-poo something away and say that's not going to work for me before you try it. And always go into everything with a positive mindset. Convince yourself that it's going to work before you even start.
Right.
Because you believing it will work is half of the battle.
Right.
That's why the placebo effect is so high in antidepressants. Sometimes it's 50%. We give people nothing and they get better. The reason they get better is because they think they're taking something that's making them better, when really they're not taking anything. So don't ever, because you never know. I mean, you could go to one of these holotropic breathing people and all of your problems could be gone.
Right. Exactly. And that's what I'm kind of looking for, is that one, you know, monk or guru or yoga therapist that's gonna be like, pow, pow, pow.
Yeah.
There's all your medical powers. Boom, boom, boom. Good juju, be all the bad juju away. And it's gonna work happy powers.
And meditation. I think if you find the right person to teach you how to do meditation in a certain way, you can probably beat a lot of this.
I agree.
Too many people, and it's not just with PTSD, it's with any mental disorder, depend too much on medications. Everything's going to be fixed by a pill. I'm too fat, I'm going to take a pill. I don't have enough energy, I'm going to take a pill. I'm depressed, I'm going to take a pill. I'm anxious, I'm going to take a pill. Everything they think is going to be fixed with a pill, and it just doesn't work that way.
No,
medications are meant to help you, but they're not meant to cure every single thing that can go wrong, especially if it's up here. And what happened to you, again, would happen. I'm sure it would happen to me if I had to go through what you went through too. It's not that you're a weak person. It's that you saw some pretty nasty stuff.
Yeah.
And you had to live through some crazy stuff that most people, if they're lucky, will never have to see in their lives. But
Well,
without people like you, we wouldn't be here, or we'd be speaking a different language.
maybe not. So we don't really know on that point. Who knows? You know, we might just be more um, segregated. You know, more. I would say we would almost look like North Korea. Just no news to be informed about the other world. You know, nothing allowed to come in or out of. You know, the politician party. You know, I think that's how things would be, but everyone's opinion on that is different, and that can be dangerous.
I'm pretty sure, Kyle, that there's nobody in this room, or probably very few people, that want to live like North Koreans live.
No,
We don't
neither
want
do I.
to. We don't want to go there. We don't want to do that.
And that's why I'm grateful for my military and my military supporters that have supported me. I've supported my military, and it's like, in the long run, I have thought about the deep downs of how the military has given me so much advantage and skills and everything, and then in the far part, it has turned my body down physically and mentally and emotionally. I know how to, weld. I know how to carpentry. I am a medic. I could. Are we back?
We're back.
Awesome. Second time I did it. I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. So anywhere from doing a biopsy on somebody to stitching somebody up, I could get it down and dirty. I mean, for God's sakes, I had an RPG strike my buddy's leg, and it hit his main artery right by his groin area. And I had to take my fingers, pinch his nerve so he lived right by his groin area for about 6 hours in a helicopter.
That's intense.
That's
intense.
You got to do what you got to do.
Right. So have you been to support groups?
Oh, yeah.
Do those help?
That's how I get to talk about this stuff. That's how I feel comfortable about it, is
right.
My next goal for me is I'm going to open my own nonprofit called Combat Hands, Helping Veteran Hands.
That's awesome.
It's already under its way. My community here in Salem, Oregon has already taken it. I go to the VA twice a week. I describe PTSD to other veterans right now. As me, I'm still getting through it. So, it's a day-by-day process for us all.
Well, and it's going to help you by helping other people.
Correct.
You're going to get a lot of joy out of that.
I get a love and joy out of it. And I love the smiles that veterans come in, because, there's things that people in the military won't understand in civilian life. And it's just like, hey, I did a dirty joke the other day, and someone was like, that's funny. I got that. No one else would have got that stuff, because no one else has understood what, a pecan is. And so, I was telling a joke about combat ketchup, and someone was like, oh, combat ketchup. I missed that stuff. I'm going to do that the other day or something. And it's just like, oh yeah, do it.
I think you doing that and starting that might help you more than anything else does.
In a way, my wife would agree with you. It has helped me a lot. It's helped me open up. about how and what I've gotten through my PTSD, where it's come from, and how I'm improvising to control it now. But back on that road, how long is it going to take me to fully overcome it? What are the solutions that I'm going to, like you said, I could go find this breathing counselor thing and
Yep. Yeah.
I'm
It could
happy.
happen very easily.
Yeah, definitely. So it's going to be
you're one treatment away from a cure if you find the right one. And once you find the right one for you, that could help hundreds of other people. It's just hard to say. I mean, I think, especially since you're starting this new group, you should try every single thing there is for PTSD and get it out there. I mean, the girls here are saying you should do a YouTube channel. I think that's a great idea. You could go through and just do videos on different treatments for PTSD for war veterans. And that's it. And you'd be surprised how many people would watch that. I would watch it. I
appreciate that. Thank you.
And I think a lot of people are, a lot of people know now. It's funny. It's like years ago, like you said, nobody ever talked about this, but it had to happen to Vietnam veterans too. It had to.
Oh, yeah.
They just didn't talk about it. They came back. People were rude to them, mean to them, all that, treated like crap.
Yep.
But I think more people, as time goes on, are starting to understand and talk about things they never talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
Because keeping it to yourself is not healing.
No, it's not. No, it's not. And with that being said, you are 100% right. Without saying something, without people bringing it up at work, school, the grocery store, whatever it needs to be. It needs to be said better. It needs to be verbally expressed. It's like if someone was to have a seizure, does everybody know how to control someone have an epileptic seizure? No. Not everybody does. And so in my reason, I would know to keep their head flat, turn it to the side and keep them flat and keep their mouth closed so they don't bite their tongue or anything, and then let them continually shake it out, but keep their head still so they're not damaging their mind.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I can't describe everybody and how they could be like, hey, how's this going to help their PTSD? I could only think and try to, but you're right. I could one day maybe become a psychiatrist or a PhD in just PTSD, hopefully.
And I'm going to, I hope I didn't lose him again. I had a really good thought here. I'm going to have to wait till he comes back on. Which I think he will. Because the odds are there he is. So I got something I want you to think about. What if Kyle finds the cure for PTSD? Would it be worth going through it? Think about that for a second before you answer it. If you found the cure and you were able to cure every other person that ever got this, would it be worth what you had to go through?
Yes. And the reason why I say yes is because it'd be worth it, because I would not be ending the pain for myself. I would not be ending the pain for my dead homies, but I'd be ending the pain for everybody that is about to witness and what is going to witness and has witnessed what the military has done for us. I could warn people about it before they even signed up for the military, That's why I say yes.
And the reason that I ask you that question is because that gives you something.
I appreciate that.
To motivate you to find that cure, not just for yourself, but for everybody else who's out there. And how many more people would come forward that are hiding this? How many people do you think that are just like you, but don't have a wife and they're all by themselves and they're just suffering through this every
man, it's
day?
clutching hard.
I don't know why there he is.
Hey, we have a bad connection right now for some reason.
Yeah, it's all right. How many people do you think suffer in silence?
Around the world or in this U.S. let alone?
Just in the U.S.
Would say a good, 500,000 maybe, if not more. That's just probably going on half the LA percentage of population,
And I agree with Alicia. I think what she's saying is exactly right. I do. I think it is. And it's funny because, I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm board certified in psychiatry. That's my specialty. And, the psychiatrist will always say, I need all the tools in my toolbox, and they're not all drugs. They're just not.
Right. And you're a pharmacist, as I take it as well.
Yep. Yep.
And so I respect what you do. My uncle is a pharmacist as well, and graduated from the University of Washington, UW. And he's written a book about pharmacy and PTSD and stuff like that. And so I've read some of his book and how he's done Chinese medicine, and he's traveled all around the world doing pharmaceutical drugs and stuff like that and learning about them. And, there's one thing that I've learned, and it's learning that no matter how much knowledge there's not enough knowledge that you can't take in. And with that being said, I appreciate what you've had to offer me, and I appreciate that everybody else has offered through the chat. Thank you so much for having me on. I do have to get going. I have another appointment here in a minute with a video chat, but I appreciate you so much, and thank you for having me on.
You've been wonderful, and I know how to get a hold of you. Janet says she wants to reach out and help you.
If you guys want to go ahead and follow me, my name is Bingo, Bingo on TikTok. I just recently changed it due to privacy reasons, but I had to change it to Bingo. So everybody loves the Bingo. So Go ahead and follow Bingo. That's not that hard. I have old people say that's a good name. I play bingo every week, so they're gonna remember me somehow. I play bingo.
They are.
Alrighty. They are. So pull out your dabbers and go follow my name. Go hit that follow button, y'all. And I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Michael.
Okay. If you need anything, feel free to reach out.
Definitely, I will.
Okay. Thanks, Bye-bye. Kyle. So that was very intense, right? That was an intense interview, but that's real. That's real life. That's what veterans go through. That, if you can imagine being in a restaurant and having something like that happen to you where you have no control, that's pretty intense, guys. I hope he finds peace. I hope he learns how to help a lot of people. And I hope God gives him the wisdom and knowledge to put a dent in this horrible mental disorder, because it's not going to go away on its own. We all know that. So I want to thank you guys for coming. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for all the questions. It really helps me a lot when you guys interact and ask questions. That makes my job a whole lot easier on here. I'm sure Kyle appreciates it. And my name is Pharmacist Michael. Be happy and be healthy. I will see you all very soon.